Dr. Joe, I'm certified by Titleist Performance Institute to work with golfers like you. There's a good chance that you made your way to this video through a golf instructor you work with. I created this as a resource guide for them. And what I'm going to do in this video is go joint by joint, giving you the single best exercise for each joint to improve your golf swing. So whether you're lacking flexibility in your shoulder, your hips, your back, this video is going to have something for you. I also made it easy to navigate. You can look at the description of this video, jump around to the joint that you need. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get into it. We begin with the thoracic spine. This is defined as the area running from the base of the neck to the bottom of the rib cage. As you can see from these images, there's a lot of different bones, muscles, and other structures that can limit this mobility. Each and every one of these will be addressed in our first movement, which we refer to as the rotate, bend, and breathe. You will complete this seated, arms across the chest. Rotate as far as you can, reach your limit, drop into a side bend, and then take a large, deep breath. You'll come out of the side bend, rotate further, bend again, and breathe. For a third time, you will come out of the bend, try to rotate further, one last bend, and one large big breath. You can advance this exercise by placing your hands behind your head, putting your lat on stretch. You'll complete the same process of rotating, bending, and breathing, coming out of the bend to further the rotation, bending again, and taking your next breath. There are 3 total positions, and I typically advise 1 to 3 breaths in each of the 3 positions. Next, we move on to the hips. Many of you are familiar with the structure of the joint, the ball and socket. But what you may not be familiar with is the sheer volume of muscles that surround the hip joint. Again, we're going to need to address each of these muscles to get maximum benefit. We do that with the V-sit leg roll. This is completed in the seated position, arms behind for support. Pull the toes back, reach the foot out like you're trying to make it longer, and then initiate a rotation out and in. The setup is important because it'll tension the sciatic nerve distribution as the rotation challenges the hip muscles. Because you're in an unloaded position, you can feel comfortable to push as far as you like, outward and inward. You may feel tissue tension and stretch, but you're unlikely to create any injury in this relatively safe position. The lumbar spine, or low back, and pelvis are next on the list. And not only is this key for a highly functioning golf swing, but it's very important to being able to play golf without back pain and to play without back pain long term. We're going to do that with the cat-cow movement, sometimes initiating with a band. The cat-cow is completed in a hands and knees position. You're going to put the hands directly under the shoulders and the knees directly under the hips. You will then arch your back, causing it to dip down, and then round it to reach up. While I do like this movement without the band, I do strongly encourage you to apply the band because of the proprioceptive input to the lower back. It teaches you not only how, but where to initiate and drive the movement from. We actually want to mimic this movement in the golf swing, achieving this position right near impact. This is going to unload the facet joints of the lower back and give us the best chance of golfing efficiently and without pain in the back. The ankles are next on our list, another collection of several different bones and muscles. This is an area under-focused in the golf swing. If you watch a swing in slow motion, staring at the feet, you'll see a lot of inversion and eversion or sideward movement of the ankles. To address this, we're going to complete the knee squeeze, ankle rock. You perform these in a seated position using a ball, yoga block, or something to stabilize the hips by squeezing the knees together into it. You'll then rock your ankles side to side as seen here. Practice this until you feel proficient, and then you can remove the ball from the equation. This is going to force you to stabilize the hips yourself, which is a better challenge for control and stability of the ankles along with flexibility. The wrist or forearms are next on our list. What you see here is that these muscles actually go from the top of the forearm near the elbow all the way down to the fingertips. That means in order to address these, we have to be a little bit picky in how we establish our position for the stretch. We're going to do that with what I call long finger stretches. These are completed by bringing the arm out front, pulling the wrist back, and using the other hand to pull the fingers straight. This combination of finger extension and wrist extension addresses the full length of these muscles. If you want to increase it, you can even flip over, turning the forearm to the ceiling. This will intensify the stretch and maximize the length of these muscles. Addressing the muscles on the other side requires a similar position. This time, you're going to raise your arm, make a fist, and lower down. You can use the other hand to provide additional pressure. Forearm club twirls are a bonus exercise that I included because of the high volume of wrist and hand issues I see in golfers. You'll complete these by taking the club, grabbing the end of it, maintaining that position with the elbow tucked toward the side, allowing the forearm to rotate down. You notice here that my elbow and shoulder stay in place, and this places a stress squarely on my forearm muscles. You can do this dropping inward as well as dropping outward to address both sides of the joint and all muscles involved. Addressing the shoulders is the responsibility of the next movement. Now, shoulder anatomy and biomechanics are fairly complex, so if you have any pain during these, please discontinue the exercise, reach out to me, and I'm happy to provide alternatives. The wall scarecrow requires some particulars. Begin by contracting the abdominals and pushing the lower back into the wall. You'll then place your elbows at shoulder height and rotate your shoulders up toward the wall, trying to place your forearms flat on the wall. You may not reach the wall, which is perfectly normal. As long as it's not painful, you can keep trying this position and work to improve it over the coming days. This concludes the joint-by-joint approach for flexibility for golf. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly by email. If a certain coach sent you my way, please let me know in the email, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible.